Hi, guys. I have a reply and an answer for a question from Wealthy CEO about Pluto going into Aquarius in their seventh house. So I'm going to go down a list of some keywords that I have on my trusty cheat sheets for seventh house. Okay. The house represents embracing the opposite, exchanging of resources. All right, that's where the other people come in, because what you're deficient in with yourself, first house, you get it from the seventh house. That's why it's partnerships and relationships, okay? Because we face our inner lack, and then we find people that come into our lives to help us with what we need to do by having relationships. Now, it's a one-on-one relationship, just FYI, okay? It's not a whole bunch of people. It's one-on-one. It's where you learn to ask for help as well. And it's sharing with other people, because that's about relationships and partnerships. It's also revealing what you don't have. So, for the seventh house, my dear, you're going to have some major transformation. Now, there's one other thing about the seventh house. We want to see where the 0 degrees Aquarius is in that house, and what is the cusp of the actual cusp, which is the edge of the seventh house. Is it near 0 degrees? All right. Now, Aquarius is gonna the Pluto is gonna be in Aquarius for 20 years, fluctuating back and forth, because Pluto goes forward for 6 months, then it goes backwards for 6 months, retrograde, then it goes forward for 6 months at varying speeds, okay, just so you know. So that's the energy of Pluto. And by the way, I am a practicing professional astrologer. I don't just read about it and then rehash it. I'm very serious about astrology, FYI. And if you do want to learn from me, get in touch and I'll get you in the appropriate class. So remember that the seventh house also has Libra, Venus energies, okay? Always keep that in mind. It's part of the natural wheel. So it's about clients. It's about balance. It's about indecisions, because they go back and forth, that Libra thing. It's about exchange, harmony, peace, all right? Limitations, and it could be marriage, lawsuits, all right? Open enemies. All those key words have to do with the seventh house. It's opponents, it's trade, it's a union, all right? So there could be crisis. Now we have to get the key words for Pluto. So Pluto has the key word, the major key word is transform, crisis, but it's also in fall. That means that Pluto is a little weakened in Aquarius, all right, per se. Just FYI. And it's the weakest, actually. So then we're going to look also. So I'm going to mention a few key words about Pluto, all right? It's kind of a dark energy. It could be a dark energy. Pluto has that energy of dragging you down to the lowest levels, all right? Now, what that means also is when you go beneath the surface or down to the lowest level, it could, mean a crisis, but through that crisis, you're going to transform. That's just the way it is. However, always remember, because if it goes really badly and you're suffering, or you feel like there's no end to this, because it is a 20-year cycle, okay? Because it goes back and forth and back and forth, the 6 months retrograde and stuff. So you have to remember that the Pluto energy, once it goes down, it will always bring you much higher than you ever were before. That's the beauty of it. That's why people with very strong Pluto placements or Scorpio placements, they become wealthy, they become very powerful, they're very intense, they're very successful, because if they survive the bottoms, they reach heights of never before, okay? I just want to stress that, because in astrology, we can't focus on only the negative of a sign, planet, or a house. We always have to look at both sides. And if you're going to study astrology with me or have a consultation with me, you have to understand that. And it's part of your free will. You have a choice. You could say, oh, I'm the victim. That's more Neptune. But, oh, gee, am I ever going to get out of it? That Pluto is always tearing me up. Watch your thoughts and your words, okay? So Pluto also has to do with some more keywords: secret, scandals, little paranoia, controlling, grief, okay? Rejection, your roots, a rebirth. It could be violent, wealth, toxicity. Those are some keywords, domineering, all right? And it's always about getting your needs met and letting go of your ego, okay? That's what happens. Now, one more thing, because a good astrologer is not going to just tell you, oh, you got Pluto in the 7th house. Now, this is where the rubber hits the road, and the professionals will look at aspects to Pluto, all right, to the natal and transits and solar arcs and every other thing that you want to look at. But you also want to see what patterns it may trigger, going at 0 degrees, and then it's going to go back into Capricorn, the 28 degrees, and then back to 0 degrees, next year. So we always have to check every moving part in astrology. That's the way I teach. I want to be very thorough. Got my Saturn in the 1st house, so I'm very thorough, okay? So check and see if it has to do with any other planets, either conjunction, opposition, trine. Check any aspects that you want in your natal chart and see what else that triggers. I hope you enjoyed that very lengthy response, but that's the way astrology is. If you want to look at the whole picture, and you know what? You're going to take whatever comes to you and use your free will to make this most powerful transformation in relationships. If you're in a relationship, it will bring it to a higher level through a transformation. All right? If you're in a partnership, if you're in a business partnership, it may mean wealth. Okay, it could mean inheritances, all kinds of stuff. All right, thank you. And if you want a professional one-on-one consultation with me, you know how to get in touch with me. Bye-bye. All the best.